Welcome to Guns and Gear Network, everyone. I wanted to bring you this video this afternoon about the Baofeng BF-888S. It's the BF-888S radios. Now, anytime you're looking at prepping, survival, camping, fishing, hunting, any of that, I think you need a good set of little two-way radios. And over the years, we've seen the blister packs that you can buy in the big box stores. Most of those work off the FRS and GMRS frequencies. These Baofeng radios here are actually ham compatible, so you can actually turn these into a ham radio. But you can also program in the GMRS and FRS frequencies. Now, little caveat, these are going to require a license, and sometimes and these are not always compatible because of the features, either the wattage or removable antenna. So understand the laws and regulations before you start using these. Now, with that said, GMRS and FRS frequencies are the two main frequencies that you see used in the radios that you buy in the big box stores, whether it be the Talkabouts or one of those Motorola Talkabouts and so forth. You know, at the end of the day, as long as you're not interfering. Now, ham channels is totally different, but with FRS and GMRS frequencies, marine and stuff like that, you know, as long as you're using the radio responsibly and not causing problems and interference with other communications in your area, you know, I personally don't see that big a deal. I mean, these things are used all the time in school settings, security settings. Even my son at their school uses these exact radios, and I promise you that they're using frequencies that probably need a license and all this other stuff that they're not actually using. So just use good common sense and when you're using these radios, and don't get yourself in trouble, because they do have pretty high fines and so forth, and they can find you. They can use triangulation to find you if you're causing problems and so forth. So with that said, what about the radios? All right, so like I said already earlier, these things have been used. I see them out and about all the time. Security people use them, schools, you know, businesses, hospitals. I see these things out all the time. So what does that tell me? I've had these things for a few years now. I think they're excellent radios. Price point, they're excellent. These things can be bought. I just checked before I started the video. You can get them for as little as about $15 a piece. So obviously a pair is going to cost you $30, and I see some of those blister pack big box store radios $60-$70 for a pair. I think these are much better, to be honest with you. They're more flexible, more user friendly. I can program these with a programming cable and free software that you download on your computer, and be able to change frequencies and so forth. Here's what I like about these radios. I also have the Baofeng UV5R, which I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're familiar with that radio also. I love that radio. It is not as user-friendly as these, and what I mean by that is it takes quite a strong learning curve to figure everything out, especially if you're going to start using the keypad to change frequencies and stuff on the fly by utilizing the keypad. These, once they're programmed and there's no way to change it as far as accidentally or something. There's no way to do that without actually hooking them back up and then redoing it through the computer system with your software. So you'll need to Google 888S, Baofeng 888S programming software. It'll come up. You can find it. It's real easy. So what about the radios? What I like about these, there's two knobs, essentially. You have an on knob.
Power on, 4.
All right, and that means it'll automatically tell you when I turn it on what channel it is. That's channel 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
16 channels for this particular radio. All right, so let's turn this radio on.
Power on. 3,
All right, that says 3. I know to go to channel 3.
5, 3.
All right, so I'm going to talk, and you will see this radio communicate. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, and this radio came on. So that makes it real simple and easy. If I have a communications, like say a prepping group or a hunting group or something like that, we're going hunting or camping, I can tell everybody to stay on a certain channel, and or I can tell them to move to a certain channel and they know how to do it because the radios are so simple. They're not like the UV5Rs, which are more difficult to teach somebody. They're 2 knobs, on-off knob and a channel knob. The channel knob being here, the volume knob being here. I will tell you, I have upgraded these antennas. You can buy upgraded antennas literally for $5-6 a piece, almost 25% of what the radio costs. But I've seen them, $4 or $5 including shipping for the antennas. The antennas that come on are okay. One of the reasons I don't like the antennas that come on them, they're very stiff. So if you've got them lashed to a pack or you're on your belt or something, they could break potentially. I like something that's very flexible, so that's why I got these. I don't have to worry about them breaking if I have this inside of a backpack or something. But to operate is real simple. You have a button on the side here, and it says PTT, which means push to talk. And let's see, turn this up. I made it loud so you guys can hear the feedback when I click it. And it's coming through this radio. Alright, so it also has some other features. It has a light, an LED light, and it also has I'm pretty sure that's an emergency beacon kind of thing with that button. But it also, here's where you would change and install either, you can use earbuds, which would go here. It comes with a set, mine did, and different vendors come out with different accessories that they'll give with it. This one came with like an earbud system, and that would go in here. You can also, this is where your programming cable goes here. Has a nice belt clip on the back that's pretty stiff. And you have to put, usually they don't come installed, the belt clip, you have to install those. Usually they'll come in a box similar to this with all the information and so forth. But that's what I like about these. They're durable, they hold up well, and the simplicity of them is really good. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get my camera straightened out here. The simplicity of them is what I like, because I carry at least 2 of these in my car at all times. If you've seen a couple of other videos about my EDC carry, I carry 2 of these radios in my car at all times. That way, if I need to go beyond cell phone, or cell phone is down or anything like that, if you look at, say, 9/11, when that happened, if, let's say, I was involved at that area of, say, a 9/11, and I couldn't communicate with the phone with, say, my wife or with a partner or, somebody nearby, and I'm trying to go find help or any of that, I can pass one of these radios off to somebody and say, here's a radio. Keep it on channel 1. Okay, so that's what I like about them, is if other means of communication such as cell phones are jammed up and we can't use them, we don't have a signal or something like that, these radios will always work. So that's what I like about them. Keep in mind when you're programming them, program them to kind of what your specific needs are. And people are going to ask the range. Here's the deal with radios, guys. No matter, I don't care if you've got the 2 most whiz-bang radios around, if you are doing what's called 2 meter, in other words, walkie-talkie to walkie-talkie, your distance is going to be fairly short, probably less than 2 miles, unless it is, and you see all these claims of 30-mile range and so forth, and people have said this on YouTube during their videos. That means everything is perfect. You're sitting on top of one mountain to another mountain, clear sight picture, for 30 miles across, no clouds, no this, no everything. Everything's just perfect to get something like that. And to be honest with you, I don't know if they even had all that, everything's perfect, that it would even work that way. So to get any distance out of these, there has to be a repeater system involved. GMRS, there are certain frequencies within the GMRS range that allow repeater use if the repeaters are available in your area. You may not have repeaters. However, and I won't go into details today, but I will tell you, if you Google or look on YouTube, you can find what's called a tactical repeater. You can build one yourself utilizing these cheap radios. So you could actually build a cheap, probably less than $200, maybe even less than $100, give or take what all the stuff would cost you. Probably less than $200, let's say. And you could build a portable, what they call a tactical repeater that you can go and deploy somewhere. And the way that works, a repeater is nothing more than kind of like a big antenna in the sky, if you will, on a tower. And it does exactly what it says. It repeats what you said. So it picks up your signal to the actual repeater itself, and then it broadcasts it out a further distance because it's on a tower. It's huge. It's tall. So it's able to go a longer distance than just radio to radio communication. It's very short. However, I've got some property. It's a little over 100 acres, and it's a good distance from the road all the way down to the back side of the property. Took two of these down there, doing some scouting and stuff, and just did some testing with these radios. And I was able to communicate from the top end of my property to the bottom end, and it through dense woods and stuff like that, and they work fine. So I think for perimeter securities and stuff like that, within at least 2 miles or less, these will do fine for you. Neighborhood watch, that sort of thing, they work really well. They come with a charger. They come, and the battery life is a long time, to be honest with you. If you're not using them constantly, matter of fact, one of the things on the box it says, and I'll read the box, it says features. It has a scrambler feature, and I've never used that, so I don't have a lot of experience with that. Noise reduction circuit, long standby time, long communication range, high compatibility lithium ion battery, battery save, reporting number command of English and Chinese, function humanism design. I assume that's some Chinglish that they've written on there. Didn't understand quite all that, but anyway, like I said, if you're just using these on standby, I keep the two powered up. I keep them charged up but not on in my vehicle, and I've came back 6-8 months later and they're charged fine. So again, even if you turn them on and you're not using them constantly, there's a long standby time. So anyway, guys, I wanted to bring you this. If you're looking for some means of communication for your prepper group or so forth, or your family, matter of fact, when we went to a large theme park a few years ago, I took two of these radios and gave one to my wife, kept one to myself. Now, we stayed together mostly as a family, but you know how it is at a large theme park. It gets crowded pretty quick, and if somebody needs to run to the bathroom or somebody needs to go over here, I like to be able to communicate instantly with her, especially going to bathrooms and stuff like that. Just make sure they're safe. If anything would happen, she can just call me instantly and say, hey, I need some help over here or whatever. So that's always a handy feature. But I like the look of these radios. They're really cool looking, very sleek, very durable so far. I hadn't used and abused them, and I'm not the type reviewer that's going to sit here and drop these off of, my house and so forth, run over them with a truck. I try using everyday use and see how they do. And I've had these for probably going on 3 or 4 years now, held up fine. So anyway, guys, if you're looking for some cheap communication, I think this right here is something you need to consider and get with your group and see about buying some of these. I would recommend having a minimum of 4, and then maybe a little nicer radio like the UV5R, which can be had in the $35, $40 range with these. So say 4 of these and a UV5R, you're looking probably at around just over $100 for all those radios. That's a good deal, if you ask me. Technology's come around, and they've really brought down the price of these radios a lot. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions, post those below. If you have any direct experience about these particular radios or something similar, and I realize there's going to be other radios that are nicer out there, a little more money, but I think for what these cost, they're excellent bang for your buck. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions, post those below. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be bringing another video here shortly. Have a good day, guys.